Hey there, YouTubes. This episode's probably going to be a series of quick updates. So I'm still grinding my way through the endgame here. But I wanted to show real quick some of the stuff I've been doing. So I generated way too much of a lot of these things that need to go into singularities, diamonds and emeralds and redstone and glowstone. This is the kind of stuff I've been doing. I'll grab a thing here. So I just got through making a bunch of quartz blocks. So what I did here was I took molten quartz, but molten quartz can go through an ingot former and make nether quartz. So instead of plugging it straight into the quantum compressor, I plugged it into a compressing drawer. So all the ingot formers turned molten quartz into nether quartz, which has then turned it into the compacting drawer is turning it into quartz blocks, which I can then filter and take quartz blocks out of that and pump it straight into here. And I have not put in the extract speed upgrades, so let me grab those. Then I can just slap a bunch of extract speed upgrades in here as well. Get this cooking even faster. And I could get more sides involved here, and I could use, phantom faces. But honestly, it seems like about 4 sped up sides of a storage drawer is a fast enough feed. I think it might be about as fast as this thing will handle anyway. You can see we're going up pretty quick there. So I did one batch and then realized I had underestimated how much I need. So I've got the 3 I need done for the infinity, or for the ultimate singularities. Now I need 6 more, or another 60,000 for the quartz singularity. And that's 60,000 blocks, which, as you can see, I've got 58,000 here. I've sort of just low-key been using, once I realized I had a tendency to go AFK and make far too much of this stuff, I've sort of been low-key using storage upgrades as sort of a limit switch here to sort of stop. But anyway, so this is cooking along, so I wanted to show you that. So we got to make, we're already making our 7th. So we need to make another 5, or another 50,000. And I'm probably just going to sort of ignore this and let this go. Then also another thing that I've got going in parallel is we need to make the creative gas tank frame, which is a series of 9 ultimate gas tanks filled with a variety of things like the clean mithril slurry, clean boron, clean iridium, etc. I got into environmental tech void ore miners so early that I never really felt the need to quintuple my ore, so I never really got into this, but I did make rotary condensators and chemical dissolution chambers and chemical washers that I set up briefly for other reasons and other things in here. But I wanted to show this, so I came back to this sort of needing these with no real infrastructure set up. One of the problems I ran into is that, for instance, the clean iridium slurry is going to be iridium ore mixed with gaseous sulfuric acid in the chemical dissolution chamber to make iridium slurry, which then needs to be washed with water to make the clean slurry. Well, one problem I had was that I was auto-processing all my iridium ore, so let's see if we've built up enough of that. Oh yeah, we're almost there. So I need 512 iridium ore, so we are basically slowly coming back up on that. I had to turn that on in my tier 5 void miner because I was voiding it out because I didn't think I needed any more iridium, but because I have like 186,000 and can make all I want from creative tanks now. So we're almost there. We're going to have the 512 iridium I need very soon. I'm working my way through the rutile ore for the clean titanium slurry right now. So let's take a look at how that goes. I got creative tanks, so I can make all of the sulfuric acid I need. Unfortunately, what I had made already was the sulfuric acid that is coming out of nuclear craft. So this is fluid nuclear craft sulfuric acid. And so I had just made a huge tank of that with my ultimate tanks, and then quickly realized that I needed to or convert it or dictionary convert it to mechanism sulfuric acid. So I did have one of these fluid dictionary converters already built. They're easy to build from industrial foregoing. So you pipe sulfuric acid in it, and then you have to tell it, yes, this is sulfuric acid, by shifting through the different buckets here. And then sometimes you have to play with these arrows to get it to turn out. But now we've got a fluid sulfuric acid, the nuclear craft version, going to a fluid sulfuric acid, the mechanism version. That is pumping out into a rotary condensator that is set on decondensating. So we're taking the fluid mechanism sulfuric acid and going to gaseous mechanism sulfuric acid. Setting these things up, these style of mechanism machines can be a pain in the butt. But basically, because it's sort of hard to tell what goes where, but the basic rules is that when you set it down, the left side input is on the left, or input output is on the left, and the right side is on the right. So in other words, on this machine here, if I'm facing it, then I need sulfuric acid to come in on the left, and I need titanium slurry to go out on the right. And then the other thing is, it's not always easy to tell whether it's gas or fluid. One of the easiest ways is just try to slap a gas or fluid conduit on it and see what sticks. But yeah, so in general, these are sort of a pain to set up, mostly just because you got to make sure you got the sidedness right. That's why I didn't try to jam them together or try to organize them too pretty, because basically I'm just going to make 9 gas tanks, or actually probably only 4 or 5 gas tanks from this setup for clean slurries, and then never use it again. But yeah, so if this is my roundabout way, I have ultimates or infinite amounts of this sulfuric acid. In theory, I could pump this out. I could grab some of this. See if I can grab it like that. Yeah, so I can grab out with my gauge dropper. Now I have some mechanism sulfuric acid in here. So when this runs out, I will use this to actually make myself an infinite tank of mechanism sulfuric acid, and then I can just clean these up and slap that down here. And then we can condensatrate that, turn that from liquid to gas, then pump the gas over here, the gas plus ore. In this case, again, it's very sided, so I've got items coming in through the top. Items won't necessarily come in through other different areas. And then we've got the draconium slurry coming out here. This one I intentionally faced this way when I placed this guy, because I wanted this to come out into the room. So once again, we've got our finished product is coming out to the right, and we have our input coming in on the left. So the gaseous draconium slurry is coming in on the left. I think I just said the wrong thing. So input on the left, over here, left is left. So we got the gaseous titanium slurry coming in on the left, and then we've got the clean gaseous titanium slurry coming out on the right. The water, you can think of this as just bubbling the slurry through water. So there's no liquid involved here, except the liquid coming in on the top. And then over here, we have almost got that. Are you going to be weird and not give me quite 512? That is going to be annoying. So these, we require 512 clean titanium slurry, and for some reason I am off a little bit here. So I might have to try and push more things through here. It appears as if for some reason the 512 rutile ore, titanium ore that I put in here only generated 511,000 instead of 512,000. So I probably just need one more rutile ore. And that's probably just a rounding issue. So if we slap that in there, it should get sucked in here. It should go to there. It should get cleaned. And it should eventually go there. Yes? No? Maybe? Don't do me like this. Let's try this again. I got plenty of ore here, so I'll throw another couple in here. Come on, you can do it. So we're making that. Okay, so now we've got clean titanium slurry. That's a gas. When I think slurry, I always think liquids, but it is a gas in the mechanism system. So now, if I go active, it should go in here, yeah? Yes, okay. So just a little funky there, but boom, we have got our first of the 9 gas frame things that we need. Cool, cool, cool. And now we have plenty of iridium, so we're going to grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and a couple to grow on, since 512 didn't seem to quite make it due to possibly rounding issues. So we're going to throw that all there. I do have some more ultimate tanks made up. So we'll throw that there. Just verify that this is all working. Iridium slurry. Clean iridium slurry. Always active. Clean, it's got through. Oh, yeah, okay. Let's see. All right, there. So I dumped the leftover. If you cycle through this, there is a dumping one. So I did clean out the leftover titanium slurry. So once again, when I get to the end of the clean iridium slurry, I may have lost a bit of iridium slurry there, so I might have to put 1 or 2 more ores in there and try and push all this through. But you can see this is growing nicely, so that is working. So all of that is to do our creative gas tank frame. This bad boy, creative gas tank frame. So we've done the titanium, the iridium, draconium. I might need to set up my tier 6 void miner again for a minute to get draconium. Or actually, I probably will just go get it with a void miner real quick, because that's another one that I think I processed it all. And boron, mithril, which is mana infused. Let's see how I'm doing on that. So mana infused, I turn this back on my tier 5 void miner, so it's climbing up. It'll be ready by the time I get to it. Draconium. Yeah, I don't have any draconium ore because I processed it all, not knowing that I would need unprocessed ore at some point. So I'm going to have to probably go take my void miner over to someplace like, I'll have to double check, was it Feluca that had a lot of in-stone draconium? Anyway, I only need 512 ore of it, so it's not a huge deal. If worst comes to worst, I could always make a combiner. I think their mechanism has a combiner that will shove draconium dust back into cobblestone to make the ore. And I have plenty of draconium dust to do that. But it'd probably be simpler just to use the digital miner. And what was the other one? Boron. Boron's another one that I think I've processed all the ore. Probably the easiest way for me to get that ore is to actually just sift for more ore pieces. So that comes from netherrack. So heavy sieve, netherrack. Yeah, compressed nether gravel. I do not have a ton of netherrack, I don't think, on me. Compressed nether gravel, compressed netherrack, crushed netherrack. Netherrack. I do not have a ton of netherrack unless I have some in my... no. But netherrack is easy to get. I'm not going to get it now, but I can show you what I do to get netherrack because it's sort of funny. Environmentalists, please avert your eyes. For some reason, I've got a fence around my portal on the overworld, so quite often when I zone in here, I've got a buildup of pigs here. But as you can see here, when I need a little netherrack for sieving for the nuclear craft ores, it ain't too hard to get. I've sort of damaged this place, but that's okay, it's the nether. So yeah. This will probably be enough here, and I don't need to do this on camera, I just wanted to show you how fast it goes. So now if we take a look here, netherrack 1400, that seems low. I guess that's about right. But it won't take a huge amount. In fact, that's probably enough. I need 512 boron ore. I did turn off my auto processing of boron ore. So basically all I need to do is throw some of this all in my thing here. I have a docking port for my dank null somewhere, but I find that it's faster usually to just do it this way unless I'm doing, pretty much it's just plain faster to do it this way. Alright, so then I need to craft a bunch of crushed netherrack. How much netherrack have I got here? 2,500. I forget how much this does, or how much it takes. It's 1 for 1. Alright, so we'll get that crushing. That's going through a resonant pulverizer, so it's pretty fast. And when that's done, I'll compress it and put it through my heavy sieve. That probably will be enough. I don't have a good feel for it, but I get quite a bit of stuff out of there with the diamond sieve. A diamond sieve that is fully enchanted. Let's see what's going on here. We've got, we're out of quartz, which means we should have, yep, we got plenty of that. Oh, I forgot to throw power back on this. I was moving things around, as I have been doing. Sometimes I forget to just repower things up and stuff. But we can do that. This thing will hog power, so if I need it to go faster or just want it to go faster, I can also slap another on there. And if I want it to go even faster, which I don't usually bother putting more than 2 on, but just to illustrate. So now we've got that accelerated quite a bit, and it's pumping out singularities at a decent rate. So that'll be the end of our quartz singularities for nether quartz. Means we can take this out and throw it. Did we pick it up? Things are pretty laggy in the core of my base. So I'm going to go ahead and throw that back in my array here of drawers. Let's see, where are we at now? Other things I got going on in the background was that I put through an order for Fluix crystals. So if we go through here, I've got another 5,000 Fluix crystals breeding up. And what was the other thing I had going? I think the Fluix crystals that will... I think I've got it planned out where that will be enough. I only need to make 3 singularities, so I need 30,000 Fluix crystals. So that should be good to go. I have a bunch of Fluix essence too, so that's good to go. What was the other one I was working on? Certus quartz. I forgot where I was on that. I've got 60,000 Certus quartz. I think that's what I was aiming for. I think I need 6 more singularities for Certus quartz. So pretty good at doing things in parallel and having lots of things going at once, but I sort of lose track sometimes. Certus quartz. That doesn't seem right. I think I need more than that. Got 60K there. I've got some more over here. Is that charged or normal? That's normal. So that's actually 90,000 Certus quartz. Looks like I might need to make up some more Certus quartz. Maybe I'm waiting for more of that to come in. Certus quartz and lapis are the last 2 that I need to do. Yeah, I guess I'm just waiting for more to come in. I think I've got 90,000 out of the 120,000 that I need. Sorry, I set this up last night. And I am getting more Certus quartz coming in through my tier 5 void miner that's up and running. Yeah, that's where I'm at on this bad boy, is I'm just waiting for more to come in. I've got 93,000 out of 120,000 or so to go. Out of 120,000 total that I want. Maybe I need 150,000. I can't remember. Okay, is Certus quartz one of these? Yes. So I need 12. I need a total of 150,000 Certus quartz. And I've got 93,000. But the void ore miner is bringing it in at a nice clip. If we go check on it. got this filtered because I've got so much more than I need of so many things now that, okay, so Certus Quartz is on there. I don't think it's actually even pulling Nether Certus Quartz, but I got that on there. And there's some charged Certus Quartz. There's some Certus Quartz. So it's coming in. A lot of this stuff is getting voided now. But it's coming in. I do have this with a light blue laser. Let's take a look at that. I think light blue laser is what I need here. Oops. So let's see. I need Certus Quartz ore, Certus Quartz ore, light blue laser. Yeah, so I did switch it. I think yesterday I switched this to a light blue laser. So we should be building up enough Certus Quartz here soon. And then the last one I think I need is the lapis. I've got, looks like enough for 49,000 blocks. This is another one that I'm going to need 150,000 of. 7,000. That's going to be, I get 12 lapis per lapis ore if I recall correctly. So that's going to be another 70,000. So 50 and 70 is 120. So that's coming along nicely. I will soon have enough lapis and Certus Quartz ore to finish my last two singularities. So yeah, things are coming along. As you can see, I made, since last time I filmed, I think I made all of these other little things that weren't too hard to make. Terrestrial artifacts, Mirian blocks, blocks of demon metal. All of these metals are pretty easy to make because we have all the molten metals that we want from our creative fluid tanks. The block of enhanced ender is not too big of a deal. I don't have this extended crafting thing here. Basically it goes faster the more ender alternators you have, but I've only been using 2, and I basically either just tick accelerate them if I'm in a hurry, or just go off and do other things if I'm not in a hurry and let them do their thing. So I never got around to making a huge amount of those. Dragon eggs are easy. We have dragon eggs, mystical agriculture seeds, so we got plenty of those. Yada yada yada. All the stuff you've seen me making, I think. So it's all pretty good. These 3 holes are for quartz blocks, which we're finishing up now downstairs, and the lapis and the Certus Quartz. So we've got that ore coming in. I think here also we're waiting for Certus Quartz and lapis and fluix. So those are the 4 that are missing here. And then we are going to be good to go there. I do need more benitoite, and I have prepared all of this. I just haven't put it through yet. So I've got enough to make 12 more of those, which will make, I need 7 more here to make the 12 infinity catalysts that I want. And then I need also some for the creative. I need 4 for the creative vending upgrades. So I'm ready on the benitoite. I had talked about possibly needing to automate blood here, but I just sort of wasn't in the mood since we're sort of at the end of the game and it's not that big of a deal. This 90,000 blood altar, capacity blood altar, I can fill it in a few seconds just by bleeding myself because of all the vast amounts of rune of self-sacrifice I have on here. So mostly what I did, just to not burn out on that and to not get my self-carpal tunnel syndrome, was basically I would just come over here. I threw like, I don't know, several hundred living rock in here to make blank slates. And then I would just come over here, spend a few seconds filling this up by just holding down right click with the self-sacrifice button. and then I would wander off and work on slurries and whatnot. And then every once in a while I would just go back and do that again. And because I wasn't trying to do it all at once and all in a hurry, eventually I realized, oh hey, look, I have tons of blood slates or blank slates. In fact, I think I made a few hundred more than I needed. So it turned out to not be too bad. Yeah, I got a couple hundred more than I needed even. So I made several hundred of those, and that wasn't that big of a deal. Alright, so these are done. So the quartz singularities go right here. Certus quartz, and let's see, where are those? Lapis and Certus quartz are the last two. And we are getting ore from those from the Void Miner Tier 5. And then over here, I already got the quartz in there, so I'm missing lapis and Certus quartz, hard carbon. Do I have? I'm missing something. Oh, magnesium diboride. That's another one I need to make. I only need 3 of them. I think I already called up the ore for that. Yeah, 31,000 magnesium diboride. So I've got this. I just need to put this through the quantum doohickey. Now, if I had this more organized, I could throw, I'd have an import, an export bus on this from my ME system, and I could just export those 31,000 in here. I don't have things quite organized just because I was sort of been all over the place. Eject out these. But I do have export buses upstairs, so probably what I'll do is just slap a drawer upstairs. Slap a drawer. I'm going to go ahead and set it so that I don't put anything weird in it. Let's see. Magnesium. Pick that up. Man, the center of my base is getting sort of laggy with this kind of stuff. This whole ME extravaganza here, being right in the center of my base, seems to have left me a little weird with the lag. Alright, so we're going to come up here. I'm going to slap magnesium diboride drawer somewhere in my drawer array here. Then we're going to come over here. And we're going to export that. Alright, so now I've got magnesium diboride being pulled out there and then imported back in there. And as it is imported, it'll go back into the drawer. Where's my keys? And there you can see we're up to 286, 350. So boom, that's going to pump that 31,000 magnesium diboride alloy into this drawer. I will then grab the drawer, bring it down here, slap it down here, and I can then pump it through the quantum compressor. It's definitely not the most straightforward way to do it, and definitely not the simplest way to do it, but at some point, just doing things quick and dirty when I've got so much different stuff going on, it's just a bit simpler than trying to be super organized about everything. Especially since this is endgame, I'm just, trying to bust this stuff out and then call it a win. So we can get that back in there, clean this out so it's going to be ready to go for the magnesium diboride. So that'll be the end of everything. So the other thing I then need to start working on is I need to start assembling all the stuff we need for our creative drawers. When our gas tank is finished, so downstairs we've got the whole slurry thing. We're working on that trophy. Empty, good. So if we come up here, creative gas tank, this will consume one of our creative fluid tanks, which I will be sorry to see it go, but that's all right. I'm getting to a point where I don't really need 3 of them anymore. And then the gas tank frame that we're working on with the clean slurry, I'll probably have that finished up tonight, and then we will be able to make the ever dreaded creative gas tank, and then I can start assembling this bad boy. This is going to take a bit of work. There's nothing here I don't think that is super difficult. It's just a lot of ME work that I'm going to have to get started. So 4 of these. It's not going to be difficult, but if we take a look at that, 1024, is that the one I'm looking for? $16,384. Whoa. I don't know if I have that one taught yet. Doesn't look like it. Alright, so we got to teach the 4096. Let's just do that for fun, because I think it's a good illustration of how completely out of control this mod pack gets at the end game. So we've got up through the, see if I had here for storage component, if I could type and spell. Alright, so 256, 1024. So yeah, we're going to need this bad boy. Change that. And we are going to then need this bad boy. And then we're going to throw that in the molecular assembler category here. And now let's see what it's going to take to make 4 of these. Alright, so I'm missing 23,000 sand, just randomly out of nowhere. That's all fine and good. So I do have a bunch of material stone, or what are those things, the stonework? I think their industrial foregoing machines are called material stonework foundry or what have you. So I can pump out a bunch of sand. That's not a problem. I don't even have to go mine it. 577 ender dust. Doesn't look like I have that programmed in, so let's do that real quick. Ender dust. So we'll go to processing, pulverizer. That's a piece of cake. I have a couple 100,000 ender pearls lying around, so that won't be a big deal. Do I have room in any of my pulverizers? Yes. Alright, so that's not a problem. Sand's not a problem. Gold ingots. How do I not have gold ingots? Oops. Did I just use up all my gold making singularities? Probably. Well, we can do that pretty easy. My auto smelting of ore is not going, but I could turn that on for gold. So we'll slap that in an export bus there. So this export bus throws gold ore into the storage crate, and then that storage crate throws it into these two redstone furnaces, which doubles things. It should be alternating. I'm not going to worry about it. So that'll happen pretty quickly. So that will get me that. I should just call it an episode here, because I could keep going in circles like this for far too long, like I did last episode. So I'm going to end it here. I just wanted you guys to see the kinds of things that I was doing to bash my way through the end here. This will, once I have my 8,000 is this going to be a horrible drain on my system? Crafting 3,800 glass is going to be a long time if I just let my ME system do it. I can do it much faster if I throw it manually through some of my stuff. So sometimes you got to help your system out a bit when you get to these big things here. So if I go sand, and we'll just help out by starting some sand running here real quick. Obviously I have lots of smelting capacity here for making glass, but I've only got one recipe turning it out at once. So if we do that, and some of that, and now we'll bust through that glass much faster. And that's why you occasionally see when I've gotten to the end game, a lot of the ME stuff that I had set up just wasn't fast enough to do thousands and thousands and thousands of items. So I end up having to, throw a double chest in here and sort of helping things along. So there's a lot of that action going on here. And this may be another case where, if I want to make, 8,000 glass, it might be simpler for me to just, throw down a chest here and just dump a bunch of stuff through here. Glass isn't too bad because I've got a lot of capacity here, but you get the feel. Anyway, it doesn't look like that's going to be too hard. What else have we got in the creative? Draconium chests are going to be a bunch of forges. No surprises there, nothing hard there, so that's good. Black hole units, not a problem. I can do all of that. Crystal matrix, no big deal. I'm going to need probably another load or two of the ultimate ingots to make the huge amount of ultimate catalysts here. Creative essence. I've got all that stuff, so that's not going to be too hard. The creative power cell, I don't know if I showed it, but I did make the creative power cell. I just threw it on my induction matrix right now. It's nice. I mean, I went from 4.8 million from my nuclear craft fusion reactor to now 5 point some million per tick. Not that I really need it, but so that's ready to go, and that's ready to go, and we're just waiting on our tank frame for that, and we have spare creative fluid tanks, so it'll consume one of those, not a problem. I do have to go back and get the Snow Queen and the questing ram trophies from the Twilight Forest, but that shouldn't be any big deal. Did I go ahead and make a bunch of resonant cell frames? I might have those already. I've only got 4. Those do take a little time to craft, so I should get working on the rest of those. I think I ended up using more than I thought for some other things, so I'm going to need 12 of those, so 8 more of those. Those aren't too bad. Filling them is a little bit of work, but I can make all of this stuff now, so that's not a big deal. And I have all of that stuff, so that's not a big deal. What I am going to do is just go ahead and start 12 of that going. And I need to go get a bunch of mana diamonds. And I used up a bunch of black quartz for my black quartz singularities, so I might have to grind up some more of that, but that's not a huge thing. What else? I think we're in good shape here. I think we're going to be able to push right through this. We're going to make one infinity ingot, and then we're going to melt it down and put it in a creative fluid tank, and then we're going to print out tons of them. So we are making our infinity catalysts and our ultimate singularities. We got those going along. That's what I talked about the first part of this. So we got those cooking along, almost done, ready to roll. So yeah, I think we're in good shape. I'm going to cut here. If I'm under an hour, what I'll do is I'll work on this a bit tonight, and then probably fill in the rest of things tomorrow when I get a bit further. Hopefully I'll have more stuff done by tomorrow. So I'll be back in a moment. And I quickly wanted to show finishing off the Twilight Forest. So I went back in there and I killed the Snow Princess, or whatever her name is. I didn't really film it because it was sort of too easy. The Snow Queen trophy. I just used these Ring of the Squid and a glider. Went to the top of went straight to the top of the tower on the glacier and killed her. So we're a bit too tough for such fights, so it wasn't really interesting or anything. But I did want to show, I have a nature's compass here that I made to find the questing ram. So if I right click on it while it's in my hand, I can search for enchanted forest, and then start search. And what it'll do is, you can see down on my bar right here, as I'm facing, it'll point towards it. And so if we take a look at my journey map, I was not attempting to draw a penis. I just, this is where the fight for the Snow Queen was. And it said, when I pulled out the nature's thing, that the closest enchanted forest was this direction. So I flew off in this direction, and here we can see the questing ram. This is my first time doing this, but if I understand correctly, basically I'm just going to be feeding it one of each color of wool, and I'll get my trophy. And it gets stripes as I feed it in the different colors and grows longer. I had most of the colors already, so that wasn't too big of a deal. And I had tons of petals and dyes to get the last few colors that I did not have. And there we go. I got the Questing Ram trophy, so that's what we needed. We're basically doing this because the creative vending thing requires this master trophy, which is all of the trophies from the Twilight Forest with a crystal matrix above it. So if we make a crystal matrix here, craft one of those up. Just a bunch of diamonds and another star, nothing too important there. And then if we take our trophies, let's see, so we need one of them, one of them, one of them, one of them. I don't know if this has to be in the proper shape, but we'll just throw them down here and then adjust them if necessary. And I have 2 Twilight Lich trophies, but I might be missing something else. Oh, the Questing Ram trophy. And it looks like they do need to be in the right order here, so let's see if I can pull that up and auto-populate it. Well, some of them auto-populated. Let's see. So it goes Naga, Twilight, Hydra across the top. Naga, Twilight, Hydra. So she would go there? Yes. Alright. Bada bing. So now we have the centerpiece of our creative vending upgrade. And where'd our ram go? There he is. Just want to take a look at him with his long ass body and his stripes. That's pretty silly looking. But alright, we're good to go. Let's head on back. Just a few other things I got going on here. To make the creative gas trophy in the middle, the tank frame, I needed all this stuff, and there were a few of them that were, the slurries were no big deal. I think I talked about that earlier in this video. So I got all those done, but DT fuel, ethylene and sulfuric acid, those were pretty easy. But DT fuel, I haven't made that or that stuff, and hydrogen chloride. So that's what I'm doing here. I've got a chemical oxidizer. I've got lithium dust going into the chemical oxidizer to make gaseous lithium, which goes into the solar neutron activator, which then turns into tritium gas. So I'm making a tank of tritium here, and downstairs I made a tank of deuterium. So for the deuterium, I guess I've already cannibalized the machines, but the deuterium was just an electrolytic separator with some heavy water in it. So I stole some heavy water from over here from my fuel source here, and then filled an infinity fluid tank with it, and then split that into deuterium and oxygen and threw away the oxygen. So I've got a tank of deuterium in here somewhere. If we take a look at tanks, So I got draconium slurry, mithril slurry, oxygen, which I don't really need, deuterium, which I'm going to mix with the tritium that I have upstairs to make the DT fuel, sulfuric acid. All I had to do with that is I already had liquid sulfuric acid from my calcium sulfate setup. I put that through the liquid ore dictionary machine from Industrial Foregoing, got some mechanism sulfuric acid, and then I took some of that into a rotary condensator to turn it into sulfuric acid gas. And then boron slurry, titanium slurry. So yeah, I got all that stuff. So chlorine, I had some chlorine upstairs as part of my, I think that was how I originally made the initial titanium, is it? Yeah, so liquid chlorine for mechanism. I originally had some of that for making my first few pieces of titanium. So I took some of that, put it in a creative fluid tank so I'd have tons of it. So I'm taking the liquid chlorine into a rotary condensator. So it is going from liquid chlorine to chlorine. On this side I've got water going into an electrolytic separator to turn into hydrogen and oxygen. I'm shipping the oxygen. I'm dumping excess oxygen and shipping the hydrogen into chemical infusers. So for the chemical infuser, I got hydrogen coming in one side, chlorine coming in from the other side as gas to make the hydrogen chloride gas coming out into this tank, which is now full. Yay. And I just swapped that, put that back. So there's another tank for my frame. Hydrogen chloride, so that one's done. So the last piece I need for the creative fluid tank is I need to finish making the DT fuel, which is, this only works at daytime, so it's been a bit slower. Actually, that's enough because I think I only need half of the 512 coming from deuterium and half coming from tritium to make 512. But I was just going to run the whole tank up anyway. So yeah, I'm going to run the rest of this out, and then when I'm done with this, I will mix those together in, I believe it's a chemical infuser, which I don't believe I've made yet. Chemical infuser, this guy. I think I didn't. I think I have one of these around somewhere. So I'll look around, and if I don't have one, I will make a new one. Pretty sure I have one somewhere, though. But yeah, anyway, as soon as I get a little bit more of the tritium, I'll make the DT fuel. That will give us the rest of, I can put my armor back on and fly. The angel ring in the draconic armor was interfering with the squid ring glider combo in the Twilight Forest, so I just took it off. Creative gas tank, yeah. So this slot is one of our creative fluid tanks, of which we've got a couple extra, so that's cool. And then the middle slot is this frame, which is the combination of these 9 ones. So as soon as I have the DT fuel one, that will be done. And then I've started working on the creative vending stuff. We've got the ultimate catalysts around the outside, which is a lot of infinity ultimate ingots, I should say. Ultimate ingots. We got the black hole units. I did have to, black hole units require these black hole talismans, which require Gaia spirits. So I did run out of Gaia spirits, so I had to fight. I didn't realize I was running out, so I used up the last of them. So then I couldn't make a Gaia ingot, so I had to do Gaia Ritual 1 to get 8 more Gaia spirits, and then I turned those into 2 Gaia ingots and did Gaia Ritual 2 twice to get about 32 Gaia spirits. So that should last me to the end of the game. So that's one thing to keep in mind, is that you do need 8 Gaia spirits to get this stuff done. The creative essence wasn't too hard. Atheum, we've got tons of that from our Void Miner days. Most of this wasn't too bad. It's mostly stuff that I had. So basically we're down to what goes in those spots. Oh, these guys. So these guys, they're not too bad other than the fact that they're just huge. Huge. So let's see if we're doing this still. Yeah, so I'm still in the midst of creating tens of thousands of pure Certus quartz crystals. So if we take a look here, when we go to make 4 of these bad boys, we can't do it because it requires 361,000 CPU. Nothing I have is that big. I don't want anything I have to be that big, to be honest. When I originally started this, it was like closer to 400 and some thousand. It was over 400,000. So basically what I've been doing is I just, so for instance, I needed 13,000 some odd silicon ingots. So I just crafted 13,000 silicon ingots as a recipe on its own. I needed, was that 39,000 pure Certus quartz for these 4 storage things. So I'm doing that separately as its own thing. I needed 4,000 quartz glass, so I ran that separately as its own thing. And so then once I have this done, I'm just going to continue to do that for a while. I'm going to run probably these 9,000 printed logics as their own, etc. Just to sort of break this up a bit so that it's not so crazed. And then once it gets down to a reasonable amount of steps where most of the intermediate products are available, then I'll go ahead and start the crafting of the final thing, the 4 16 gigabytes or whatever that is storage thing. So that's coming along. I got all the stuff for it. It's just a matter of, coaxing it through my ME system. So the only thing I really have left to do is I got to take another run at, I got to make 4 more chaotic cores, which means making more draconic and more wyvern and more awakened. So I got to get all those done. So I need 16 of those, which means I need 64 wyvern cores. That's the step that always slows me down. Getting 64 wyvern cores to do this is a pain in the butt. Because the wyvern cores, that means I need 2 stacks of ludocrite, which I think I have now. So yeah, I think I'm ready to go there. But 64 of those means I need 3 stacks of draconic cores, which hopefully I have that now. Nope, I gotta make more of those. Which I'm probably about out of slime again, aren't I? Missing 11 congealed slime blocks, yep. I run out of those every once in a while. Those are necessary for the empowered palace crystal blocks. So every once in a while I have to run out and raid a slime island. So I'll go do that and take care of that. But we're getting close to the end of the creative stuff here. So basically, that's about good to go. And the rest of this is pretty much about good to go. Still working on, these are for the discs. I have 12 discs and I think they're all going to work, so that should be fine. Basically, I'm still ramping up the lapis quartz, or sorry, the lapis blocks for lapis lazuli, singularities, and the Certus quartz for Certus quartz singularities. Those are the two that are lagging. Those are the two hardest ones for me because you can't you can't make any molten form of them, and the lapis requires the blocks, so it's just a lot. So I'm just missing those two, but I'm getting close. I got quite a bit of the materials, so probably by tomorrow night I will have those made, and that will get us the 2 infinity ingots that we need. So yeah, things are moving along. This should be going again now since it's light out. Yes. And we've used stuff up. So I can grab this now. And I have to find or make a chemical infuser and then mix 252. Is that quite enough? I don't think. Let's see. It's not quite enough, is it? I need at least 256. So we'll pop that back up on there. Is that the right one? Yes, tritium. And we'll grab some more lithium dust. And feed that through here. More lithium dust to make more lithium, which will make more tritium. And we got to get that up to at least 256 millibuckets. So yeah, things are cruising along. I tell you, with all of these big crafting tables, as soon as we broke out of the 3x3 crafting tables and got into things like the crafting core, the fusion, these extended crafting tables, which have some automation, but the automation is not great. Definitely that's my take-home lesson here, is that things got really slow and crazy once we got up to the huge volumes of crap that we had to do, and we got away from our lovely auto crafting in the ME system and had to start, dealing with these other crafting things that are bigger than 3x3 or more complicated than a crafting table. That's when things really started to bog down and feel grindy. I definitely have looked at ways to better automate some of these bigger tables and whatnot, but it's just complicated enough that I'm sort of just going to bash through it the hard way now. But the next time I do this, I'm going to be better prepared and try to get a better feel for how to automate these sort of in-game crafting methods to make them feel a little less grindy. That's my big take-home lesson from all this. But yeah, lapis singularities and Certus singularities are probably going to be the last couple things I need. Just sort of getting everything else wrapped up while I'm waiting for those to come along, and then we will be good to go. Once we take a look at the quest book. Let's see, quest book. once we have these two bad boys done and can basically make copies of all items, and I will have a spare fluid tank, so even though we'll consume one fluid tank here and one fluid tank here, I do have a third fluid tank, so that'll help us out on some of this stuff. But once we have creative items, it shouldn't take us too long to bash out the rest of this and bash out the rest of Draconic Evolution, and get the RF tools done, and then we will be good to go. I gotta make, this is just a few. The Awakened Sharpening Kit takes Awakened cores, and the Chaotic one takes Chaotic cores. So I'm not in any hurry to do that. I can do that after I have the vending upgrade for infinite items. So yeah, basically it all hinges on this guy. As soon as we get this guy, I think we can just bash through the rest of the stuff real quick and call it a victory. So that's it for now. Probably the first thing we'll do in the next episode is craft our creative gas tank and creative vending upgrades, and then we'll try and bash through some of that other stuff. So I'll talk to you next time. Bye.